We've all experienced zombie media, from movies to TV shows to games. But after a while, they all start to feel the same. For me though, one game never gets boring, and that's Left 4 Dead 2. So what actually is Left 4 Dead 2? At its core, it's a cooperative zombie shooter where you and 3 other survivors fight your way through different campaigns trying to reach safety. Each level throws waves of infected at you, forcing you to stick together, manage your resources, and survive long enough to make it to the end. Along the way, you'll be scavenging for weapons, hitting items, and anything that keeps your team alive as the situation gets more intense. But once you actually get into a run, things rarely go as smooth as you expect. What starts off as a simple walk through a level can quickly turn into complete chaos. You'll be dealing with constant waves of infected, limited resources, and situations that can change in seconds. One moment your team is moving forward without any problems, and the next you're being jumped on every corner. And if even one person gets caught off guard, it can quickly put the entire team in danger. Normal zombies aren't the only type of infected you will face. For example, when someone mutates enough from the virus, they turn into a special infected. Here are some examples of them. The first one we're gonna start with is the Charger. He can rush in and split your team apart in seconds. One hit is usually enough to completely isolate a player, dragging them away from the group and putting them in a dangerous position. And if your team doesn't react quickly, that one mistake can turn into a full wipe. The Spitter is less direct but just as dangerous. Instead of attacking head on, it controls space, forcing you to move or take constant damage. In tight areas, this can block off entire paths and make already bad situations even worse. And then there's the Tank. Unlike anything else in the game, it's a massive, high health enemy that can absorb a huge amount of damage while chasing your team down. When a tank shows up, everything changes. What was already a chaotic fight suddenly becomes a desperate attempt to survive. And these are just a few examples. There are even more types of special infected, each one adding its own kind of pressure to every run. And the reason all of this feels so dynamic isn't just by chance. Behind the scenes, the game is constantly adjusting how each run plays out. It reacts to how your team is performing, changing the intensity depending on the situation. Sometimes it throws small groups of infected at you, and other times it suddenly overwhelms you with massive hordes and special infected all at once. It controls when these moments happen, how often they occur, and how intense they feel. Because of this, the game never really lets you settle in. There's always pressure, always something happening, and you're constantly forced to react. And that's what keeps every run feeling different, even if you're playing the same level again. And because of all of this, no two runs ever feel the same. Even if you're playing the same campaign, the experience can be completely different every time. The way enemies appear, the situations you end up in, how your team reacts to them. It's always changing, and that's what makes the game so replayable. You're not just memorizing levels, you're constantly adapting to new situations, and because of that, it never really gets boring. As you move through a campaign, your weapons start to improve. You usually begin with basic pistols and melee weapons. Not long after, you'll come across stronger options like submachine guns and shotguns, giving you more firepower to deal with larger groups of infected. Along the way, you'll also be managing your health and resources. Items like medkits and pills can make a big difference, especially during longer fights. Knowing when to heal and when to save your resources becomes really important the further you go. And even beyond the base game, the modding community has kept it alive for years, from small visual changes to completely new experiences. There's a huge variety of mods that can change how the game looks and feels. It adds even more replayability, giving players a reason to keep coming back long after they've finished the main campaign. And even after all these years, the game still holds up incredibly well. The core gameplay is simple, but it's executed in a way that still feels satisfying today. The pacing, the teamwork, and the constant pressure all come together to create something that still feels unique compared to a lot of modern games. And that's why people still come back to it. Not just for nostalgia, but because it genuinely still works. It's a simple formula, but it's one that still works perfectly. And even now, it still stands as one of the best zombie games out there. Thank you for watching.